Hey guys, and welcome. So as you know, recently I've been reviewing different safety razor blades, and I've been getting differing experiences with them. All the blades perform differently on my skin and with my beard growth. And I kind of give you guys that feedback in the shaves and how much I like the blades and how much I dislike them, and my thoughts about returning to that blade in future shaves. So recently I reviewed these three blades: the Voskhod Teflon Coated, the Rapira Platinum Luxe, and the Rapira Swedish Super Steel. And all these blades perform very differently for me. But I got one comment from one user who said that these blades are exactly the same blade. He knows this definitively. He said, actually, I have the comment right here. Let me read it for you guys. So this was Don Dan, and he said, "Ha ha ha, LOL, sorry. But I have to laugh every time when I read things like these blades are sharper, smoother, more or less harsh, etc. I lived in and worked for 10 years in St. Petersburg, Russia, and I know in all caps that the blades from one manufacturer are all exactly the same and just differently labeled. This pertains to these blades because all three of these blades, the Voskhod and the Rapira, come from the same manufacturer, Microscopic. It's a Russian blade manufacturer." I'll return to the comments here. Like I was saying before, are exactly the same, just differently labeled. "I became witness with my own eyes when I visited the company for business. I don't want to name it because I don't need trouble with Russian guys in black leather coats, etc. Ha ha ha, you know what I mean, right? All the blade differences you think you realize are only in your mind. The actual differences come just from different soaps, creams, water, preparation, and form on that day." So I saw that comment, and it honestly really intrigued me because, he said, definitively, I know this, but that is very, very much in opposition to my experience with these blades. I thought that these blades all perform very, very differently. That being said, all three of these blades, the Rapira Swedish Super Steel, the Platinum Luxe, and the Voskhod, are all from the same manufacturer. They're from Microscopic, and you can buy them online. The best place I've found for these blades is honestly eBay. And there's one seller on there who sells 100 packs or 100 packs of all these for the exact same price. So there's some slight suspicion there, since they sell for the same price, are they maybe the same? So anyway, I just wanted to address this formally in a video. First I'm going to talk about some more objective evidence towards this and against it, and then some more subjective evidence. So first of all, I got one of these pocket microscopes. This is one of these that zooms from 600x to 100x. And I actually got an adapter where it fits on my iPhone. So I went under 100x and I looked at these blades under this microscope, and I compared the blade edges because I thought that was a good way to actually see what do the blade edges look like. Are they the same? Are they different? I wanted to explore that further. So I'm going to cut in that footage now. So take a look. Alright guys, so here's the microscopic evaluation of these blades. This first blade we're going to be taking a look at is the Voskhod Teflon Coated blade. This is at 100 times magnification. Let me go on out here and find the edge of the blade. So here's the edge of the Voskhod blade. You can see it's nice and even. You can see the cut marks from the hone on there when the blade was made, but it's nice and even. You can see out there at the so the blade is to the right side here, and the edge is facing to the left, and right there at the very edge you can kind of see a finer line of gray at the very side that cuts the skin. So overall, pretty smooth looking blade there. So once again, that is the Voskhod. Alright, second blade here, we're going to be taking a look at the Rapira Platinum Luxe. So same thing. 100x. Let me find the edge. So here's the edge of the Rapira Platinum Luxe. I do believe that it appears different. Once again, the blade is to the right side and the edge is pointing left. Once again, at the very edge you see that kind of darker gray where it's in contact with your skin. But overall, I'd say this looks different. It doesn't have the same kind of striations. Get that to focus.
going up the blade edge there. I do think that this appears different. I'll put a side-to-side comparison of all these next to each other. But there's the Rapira Platinum Lux. And then finally, we're going to look at the Rapira Swedish Super Steel. All of these are at 100x. Let me find this edge. There we go. Let me zoom in. So the blade is to the right, edge is facing the left, and I do believe that this, once again, appears different. It's a slightly shorter bevel on there, and the edge still has a little bit of that gray kind of line on there, but it's but I do think that this appears different. I think that the bevel length here is different than the other two. Interesting.
Alright, so you all saw there underneath the microscope that these blade edges, I believe that they look very, very different. They have different lengths of the actual blade edge hone. That means the distance from like the standard length of the blade. So if you're looking at a razor blade from the edge on coming out to the edge, you have the thickness of the steel used for the blade coming out here, and then the hone starts, and that's the bevel that comes out to the blade edge. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So at a certain distance from the actual blade edge, that hone starts. And I believe that, if you take a look back at that they have different distances from the blade edge to the distance to where that hone actually begins. And I believe that the hone looks different. It has different hone marks on there. And the edge of the blade actually looks different. So, when comparing all three of those blades underneath the microscope, I think that they actually do look different. I looked at a couple different of these blades. I only showed one of them here in the video. Looked at a few different blades and a few different distances along the edge on both sides. And, it appeared very, very uniform when you're looking at one exact brand of blade. But between the different blades, there was lots of variation. All right. The second thing I'm going to look at here for a little bit more objective data is I'm going to use a digital caliper. So what this is, it's basically a digital ruler. I have it set here on millimeters, it's zeroed, and as you move out, it tells you exactly the distance between these two. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take these three different blades. So every time I set it here, I'm going to zero it. And I'm going to start off with the Voskhod blades. So here you see Voskhod, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure it out here at the edge away from the printing, because the printing is actually printed on top of the blade, and I don't want that to interfere with my measurement. So I'm going to go ahead here, take a blade sample away from the printing, 0.09 millimeters. Alright, so that's a Voskhod. I'm going to take one other reading here. 0.08 millimeters. It's not really that different. Alright, I'm going to take another one here. There's always a certain standard of error that you have to accept while taking kind of more precise measurements. Here's 0.09, and then one more here. There we go. 0.10. Let me move it in here. Let me just make sure. 0.09. Okay, so about 0.09 on the Voskhod blades for the actual blade depth, or the actual thickness, of the steel used in this blade production. Alright. So here we go. These are the Rapira Platinum Lux. Let me take a sample here. This spot right here has a little bit of wax on it, so I'm going to avoid that spot. I'm going to take three measurements from three different areas. 0.10, 0.10, 0.10. This is the one with the wax, but I did just try to clean it off. 0.10. So the Voskhod were about 0.09. These are 0.10. Maybe a little bit different steel used in these blade productions. I'm not really sure. Okay, finally, this is the Rapira Swedish Super Steel. Same thing, 4 measurements right here on the corners. 0.11. 0.10. 0.11, 0.11, and finally 0.11. So I actually do think that these might be actually different thickness of steel used in these blades. I think that the Rapira Swedish Super Steel appear to be 0.11, and then the Rapira Platinum Lux appear to be about 0.10, maybe 0.09, and the Voskhod 0.09. So I do believe that's an actual difference there that I just noted in these actual blade steel thicknesses. So anyway, so that's some objective data. And so now we get into some of the subjective data. Honestly, shaving with these three different blades, they are very, very different performers. I'll just go in order here. The Voskhod Teflon coated, they first pass are a little bit more dull because they have that Teflon coating on there. But once the Teflon coating comes off the blades, I think that they are a very smooth and a pretty sharp blade overall. They give excellent shaves. I'm actually very impressed with these blades. And in response to my blade review series, I actually ordered a 100-pack of these blades because I like them so much. The Rapira Platinum Lux, they remind me a lot of the Astra SPs. They are very, very sharp blades. And their smoothness isn't quite as high as their sharpness, but they are very sharp blades and give excellent shaves due to that sharpness. And finally, the Rapira Swedish Super Steel. Those blades, I honestly found them rather dull and not that smooth. I thought overall that they weren't great performing blades. They just didn't work well for me. I know there's lots of people out there who love these blades, but they just weren't the right blades for my beard growth and my skin type. So that's my subjective data about these blades. They perform very, very differently. And actually, you know, when I combine my subjective data that I've had with these blades with the objective data that I just gained from these blades from looking at them microscopically and actually evaluating the different steel thicknesses used in these blade productions, the objective data shows that these are actually different blades, and that definitely coincides with my subjective data from actually shaving with these blades. So unfortunately, this commenter out there, I do have to disagree with your comment. I love that you guys post. I love that you guys put forth this information. When this comment was posted, it really, really intrigued me. I was like, holy cow, are these blades actually the same? You know, I have to check myself. I have to check my inner validity when I'm reviewing these blades for you guys. Am I just being fooled? Am I using the exact same blade for every blade review and just being fooled by that day's shave? Looking back now, I do not believe that that's the case. I believe that these blades are different. I believe that these blade manufacturers do produce different blades. It's not the same blade here in the same packaging. I believe that the Rapira Swedish Super Steel, the Platinum Lux, and the Voskhod are all different blades, and that is why they perform differently during the shaves. So anyway, this is just a little side, just kind of like a little fun video here. You know, I kind of wanted to look into this because when I got that comment, I really was pretty intrigued by it, and I just got one of these microscopes to use with my straight razor, so I figured, you know what, might as well turn it to my safety razor blades, take a look, and see what they show, because I've really, honestly, I've never looked at a safety razor blade under 100 times magnification before. So anyway, pretty interesting results. Post below, let me know if you guys think that these blades are the same or if they are different. For me, they're different, perform differently, look differently, are objectively different blades. That is what I'm sticking with here, and I am glad to see it there, because that means that I actually have some sort of a feel on my face for how these blades are performing. So anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate your views. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned. Lots of videos to come.